Jeffrey Epstein, children, and your government protected the people who helped him.
Jeffrey Epstein is facing new allegations that he exploited dozens of young girls for sex.
This playground for the rich and famous.
That Mr. Trump sexually abused a minor and that some pages mentioning him were removed from the public record.
You know, he was at Epstein's Island a lot. I wasn't. I never went there, by the way.
Epstein was arrested in 2019 and charged with conspiracy and child sex trafficking.
I went there a whole bunch of times, and, it led to, unfortunately, he forced me to have sex with him, basically. When I was, I'd say 16 and a half or 17, he didn't want me anymore. He was just like, "You're too old."
He said that?
He's like, you're too old. I don't want you anymore.
Imagine someone you know, a child who gets what happens? Police investigation, arrest, prison. And that's for one child. Now, imagine hundreds of documented victims across decades. What would a sane government do? It should be a total war on every resource and arrest the predator. In fact, arrest everyone connected and destroy their careers. Prison for life. And that's what you'd expect, and that's what justice demands. But here's what actually happened. The people you worship became more powerful. Donald Trump, President of the United States. He appears across flight logs, emails, and documents throughout these files. Bill Clinton, former president, flew on Epstein's planes dozens of times. And Prince Andrew, a British royalty, he was in fact arrested on February 19, 2026. The first royal in handcuffs, but not for this crime. Something is not right. Few weeks ago, United States government released 3.5 million pages and 43 survivors' details. Their full names, their home addresses, phone numbers published publicly. But the data for rapists, redacted. Why is the government protecting child rapists? And the answer is pretty simple. Power. They are not just protecting them, they are elevating them. One is president right now, another one runs your Commerce Department, Pam Bondi, Attorney General who oversaw the release, refused to apologize to survivors sitting in front of her. So why is the government protecting the child rapist? This investigation answers three major questions. Question one, the celebrities you watch, the royalty you follow, the presidents on the TV, they are all connected to hundreds of documented victims. They are more powerful now. How? Question two, Epstein built an industrial system for child rape and it is still running. How? And question three, UK, France, Norway, USA, one of the biggest democracies, of the people, for the people, and by the people. Every single one protected this network and you voted for them, you trusted them, and you pay taxes to fund them. What does that make you? Are you a collaborator in the system or are you a supporter of the system? And by the end of this video, you will understand how this all network actually works. All right, you just saw the names Trump, Clinton, Prince Andrew, connected to one man. And the question everyone asks is, how did they know him? That's the wrong question, because Jeffrey Epstein alone was nothing. He was a college dropout, fired teacher, no verified clients, and no proven track record. On his own, he was nobody. So, the real question isn't how they knew him. The real question is, how did a nobody become someone that presidents and royalty couldn't say no to? Someone built him. Someone with billions of dollars. Someone who built an empire by being ruthless about who to trust. And this person looked at Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody, no degree, no credentials, and handed him everything he needed. This is Leslie Wexner. You know his companies actually. Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, The Limited. He didn't inherit it. He built it himself, these billion-dollar corporations. And I want you to think about something. When you build a billion-dollar empire from scratch, every decision you make can destroy you. And one bad partnership, gone. One person you misplace the trust in, gone. So people who built what Wexner built are not naive. They are not careless and they do not hand things to people without a reason. In early 1980s, Wexner meets Jeffrey Epstein, and what happened next defies all explanations. Wexner signs full power of attorney. Epstein can sign Wexner's names, access every bank account, and make every investment. He can literally control everything. Total authority over billionaire's empire, given to a man with no verifiable credentials. And then Wexner transfers his Manhattan mansion to Epstein's. 7 floors, $50 million for $0. In over 20 years, at least $200 million has flown from one of the world's richest men to Jeffrey Epstein's. And few weeks ago, the government releases files where Wexner's official designation is co-conspirator. In those same files, victims testify that they were raped in that mansion. And Wexner's explanation to this was that I was naive. He misappropriated my funds. So the man who built billion-dollar empire was naive. And where is Leslie Wexner today? Well, he is living freely. No charges of co-conspirator in federal files, which was released a few weeks ago. Something is not making sense. Wexner is not an exception. Wexner is simply a pattern. Leon Black pays Epstein close to $160 million for tax advice after Epstein is a convicted sex offender. JP Morgan's compliance team flags him for human trafficking, but the bank keeps processing his money anyway. And police find 50 victims. Epstein serves 13 months and he's out of the jail up to 16 hours a day. So everyone who helped him is simply immune. Why? These are not mistakes, and rather these are protection. Protection this consistent across this many powerful institutions and over this many decades is not an accident. It is a decision. Which means Epstein had something so valuable that billionaires, banks, and governments across 30 years keep choosing to protect him over justice. What did Jeffrey Epstein have? Here it is, and this is exactly how the powerful people connected to him ended up becoming more powerful. How? Well, the mansion that Wexner gave him for $0, in July 2019, FBI raids it. Hidden cameras in every room. FBI cracks open the safe and finds hundreds of discs, each labeled with hand, with name, age, and date. They also found cash, diamonds, fake passport, his photos with fake names, and some Saudi addresses. Those labels are proof of what powerful men did with underage girls. And when you have proof like that on them, they can't let you talk. So they protect you. They make sure nothing happens to you. And because you are protected, you don't lose the power. You end up getting more powerful. And that's the answer that everyone involved in this crime, or everyone who was involved in this whole fiasco, ended up becoming more powerful than ever. Now, let me introduce you to one of the most interesting pieces of this puzzle, Maxwell. Epstein didn't do this alone. He was supported by Maxwell, who ran with him. Her father was Robert Maxwell, and he had documented ties to British and Israeli intelligence. He died falling off his yacht in 1991 without any witnesses. When Maxwell stepped in 20 years ago, she brought over 1,000 girls as young as 14 years. She designed the guest book. In 2021, she got convicted for 20 years of prison. And in 2026 files, she names 3 others who helped her to run this. Their names are blacked out. They are still free, and the men who used it didn't go down, they went up. So how did the connection make them more powerful? The proof is forced silence. Silence gave them protection to let them climb. Bill Gates, the man you trust to save children's lives, he meets Epstein in 2011, 2013, and 2014, despite knowing that Epstein was convicted in 2008. Melinda calls it out in her divorce.
But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
And Bill Gates says that it was a big mistake and he didn't know his past. He knew what happened to Epstein, but nothing. No charges, no investigation. The foundation kept becoming bigger and the influences went deeper. He is more powerful than ever before. Elon Musk, the guy you cheered up for Rocket's future. In his 2012 email to Epstein, he asked, what day or night is the wildest party going to be on the island? And Epstein schedules him for December 6th. About 16 emails were exchanged, and Musk says he never went. So what happened to him? Nothing. No charges, no questions. Now he controls the space industry and also the AI industry. He's way more powerful than in 2012. Prince Andrew, the royal most of you grew up admiring. Maxwell introduces and visits for years. In fact, kids as young as 17 were sent to him 3 times. 2010, post-conviction, walks with Epstein in Central Park. He sends Epstein's classified UK information, Vietnam cables, Singapore reports, Afghanistan war intel. These were all classified and sent minutes after he received it. And he was recently arrested on February 19th. He got arrested for those documents, not for his connection with girls. He was the first royal arrested in centuries. Clinton, dozens of flights, not 4, never under oath. Hawking, island photos. Brunel, recruiter, dead in cell, under pre-trial. FBI has every disk, every label, every name. But the cases are closed or redacted or no charges. For 30 years, your government is still choosing to protect these people who you choose to elect. And you need to start questioning, what does that mean for society and what does that mean for you specifically?
Here's the deal. On this channel, we spend a lot of time understanding this investigation, getting those facts right for you. All I want is your support in 3 forms. Comment down below if you feel the story made sense or if you disagree. Second, share it with anyone who might enjoy this. And finally, subscribe to the channel. Let's go back to the story.
Before we answer the question that what does that make you need to see something. The protection didn't stop 30 years ago. In fact, it never stopped. The system, in fact, is still running and still protecting. How? Well, how does the FBI, the Department of Justice, a federal prison, and an attorney general across 30 years all look at the same evidence and make the same calls? Not 4 failures, but 4 choices. And that's what we are going to answer. Why did they kept on choosing the same system? Case file. Maria Farmer, a 25 years old, calls the FBI, gives them Epstein's name, gives them Maxwell's name, and gives them the location, 9 East 71st Street mansion. Her sister Annie, 16, victim. The FBI opens a file and then nothing. Not a month, not a year, 9 years. 9 years while Epstein added more names and more disks to his personal collection. 9 years of new girls, new victims, and the FBI had all the file. They read it, they put it in their drawer and decided not to act on it. That is not a failure, that is a decision. In 2007, Palm Beach Police Department had a case. 50 victims, 53-page draft indictment, and federal charges. US Attorney Alexander Acosta takes over, signs this. Epstein pleads to 2 state charges and serves 13 months. He serves in Palm Beach jail in a private wing where he gets to go out for 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, with a private driver every morning. No federal charges, and the co-conspirators are immune. All of them. Federal judge rules illegal later. Immunity still stands. In 2019, a reporter asked Acosta why, and Acosta's statement was that I was told that Epstein belonged to intelligence, so back off, and it is way above my pay grade. So the question is, who told him? Nobody asked this question. Not even Congress, not press. Acosta's reward? Trump makes him Secretary of Labor in 2017, and he runs anti-trafficking department.
The nominee for Secretary of the Department of Labor will be Mr. Alex Acosta.
That is not incompetence, that is a decision. In July 2019, Epstein was on suicide watch, but he was taken off. His cellmate was removed the night before against protocol, and for some reason, the guards who check in every 30 minutes went off to sleep. They even falsified the logs. The cameras outside the cell somehow didn't work, and the backup cameras failed as well. Guards found Epstein dead on August 10th. The guards were charged and the charges were dropped for a community service. Warden reassigned, not fired, and no one higher was accountable. The DOJ let him die, and that is not incompetence. That is a decision. Now, let me connect all these dots for you. Epstein ran an industrial system, similarly how Hitler built an industrial genocide system during World War. Now the World War has ended and the judgments and executions all have happened, but Epstein's system seems to be bulletproof. Despite all the press conferences, despite all the redactions, despite people coming forward, he built an entire architecture of international justice to prevent anybody getting punished. So you have to understand the system he designed is still very effective and is operational despite he was pronounced dead in 2019. So let's understand how it is active right now and how are the people named in those files, the ones connected to Epstein, still protected today. They are still in power and still elevated. Let's start with the biggest name, Donald Trump. He flew on Epstein's plane at least 7 times, visited the places where Epstein recruited girls, and publicly said in 2002 that I have known Jeff for 15 years. He's a terrific guy and he is a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he liked beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on younger side. After 2008 conviction, public record still associated. It still mentions in files, no charges, no investigation. Today, he's the second-time president of one of the most powerful country in the world that we call as democracy, where you choose your leader from the people, you vote for him, for his values and ideals. And yet, nobody can touch him, despite his name came out on multiple times. So people anywhere associated to him kept on growing. I mean, I can go on telling you that there are more such people with so many more positions. So why has government not done enough, or has government done enough? Well, in Congress, 427 members voted to release the files, then all at once went silent. No hearings, no follow-up, no questions, no subpoenas. The binder showed they were being watched and they stopped looking. The United States government still holds the library, but has chosen not to do anything about it. So someone is deciding today that you can clearly release all the names of the people who were traumatized, raped, but anyone close to linked and is powerful, their names get redacted. So your government clearly hasn't done enough. Again, you trusted the people, the system protected, you paid for the system that protected them, and you voted for the system that protected them. Somewhere down the line, it's also a you problem. You have to figure out how you choose to build your systems, or how do you change the systems to solve for such things never happening again, where power never gets concentrated on the top, or power never gets misused on the top. So, if you have been watching this for far too long, you understand the whole system. It is still there and someone is still pulling the trigger. What are you going to do about this?